I know what I'm doing. I have it all planned out. Plans to take care of you, not abandon you. Plans to give you the future you hope for. Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11. Everything that happens to a child of God, both the good and the bad, aids their divine purpose. However, it is the uncomfortable, the challenging, and the painful that yield the best results as far as our spiritual growth is concerned. Not that God takes any pleasure in our pain, just that as human beings we simply do not grow in comfort. Do you feel that life is standing still? Does it seem that day after day nothing changes and that God has forgotten you? No, He has not forgotten. He is simply taking the time to prepare you for a special task, for a future opportunity. What you are going through now is not where things will end. It is a promise. It is His promise. So today, whatever you face, instead of asking God if He knows what He is doing, ask Him what it is He wants to do in you. You might think God only works in the big stuff, but God works in the small stuff as well. You have a history and a background that has brought you to this point. You may not like your family background, but it was no accident. Your background is not everything, but God can use it. He knows what He's doing. Can you believe that God knew when you were going to be born, whom your parents would be, and that He planned for you to be alive at this time? Having this mindset helps you to understand where you live and the time you live in, and that God is interested in your story. He is working on every little detail to make all things work together for your good. God placed you where you are for a reason. You are supposed to be where you are to affect His plans. Now the donkeys of Kish, Saul's father, were lost. And Kish said to his son Saul, "Please take one of the servants with you, and arise, go and look for the donkeys." So he passed through the mountains of Ephraim, and through the land of Shalisha. But they did not find them. Then they passed through the land of Shalim, and they were not there. Then he passed through the land of the Benjamites, but they did not find them. 1 Samuel chapter 9, verses 3 and 4. Saul is sent out on a donkey-finding mission. He goes with his servant. They travel everywhere and could not find the donkeys. This seemed like a setback. Why him? Why the donkeys? Saul probably thought he was just looking for donkeys, but that was not the case at all. There was a bigger picture. He was fed up with the search for the donkeys. His servant recommended asking a prophet, and that prophet was none other than Samuel. Had he not been looking for the donkeys, he would not have met Samuel, and would not have become king. It is not until you get to the other end of those times that you would realize that God was there all along, protecting you and guiding you, working it all for your good and ultimately His glory. So just remember, although God is not behind whatever is upsetting you, He is working it out for your good. What seems so hard will benefit you if you trust Him. He says, "I know the plans I have for you, plans for good and not evil." Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11. You matter. Your story matters. God can use you for His purposes. God puts dreams in our hearts and writes a destiny over our lives. Moreover, If we trust Him enough to take Him at His word, we will find ourselves on a journey toward the fulfillment of that dream. Life's challenges are not supposed to paralyze you. They're supposed to help you discover who you are. One cannot get through life without pain. What we can do is choose how to use the pain life presents to us. And when you do not understand the reason behind your struggle, just know that God is preparing you. He is developing your gifts, talents, and abilities. He is broadening your understanding of how to navigate your way through life. We grow through adversity. While God prepares you, and it seems that time is standing still, it is helpful to remember whose you are and where you are. It is better to be standing still in His will than moving around at high speed outside of it. But you don't understand, you may begin to say. This has been going on way too long. If I had to wait 1 year, I could probably handle it, but I've been waiting 5, 10, 20 years. The same could be said of us as Christians. If you were to ask Moses how he became who he was, he would remind you of his trials with Pharaoh and his times of testing in the wilderness. How about the young man Joseph, who waited many years for the fulfillment of the dream God had given him? He was falsely accused and imprisoned before the time came for him to do what God had shown him he was to do. If you were to ask Joseph, he would most likely refer back to his years as a slave, his imprisonment on a false accusation, and his imprisonment in Pharaoh's dungeon. Talk to Peter, and he would probably point back to his denial and how he learned many difficult yet important lessons. Listen, God's timing is a mystery. If we start comparing the time we spend waiting with the time others spend, we will be terribly frustrated. God has a unique design for each of our lives. Because He is a God of variety, our individual time of preparation and our season of growth will differ and be unlike that of anyone else. 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 12 and 13 say, "Dear friends, do not be surprised at the painful trial you are suffering, as though something strange were happening to you. But rejoice that you participate in the sufferings of Christ, so that you may be overjoyed when His glory is revealed." What is God preparing you for? You might have some indications about the future as you move through your seasons. It could be a gradual revelation where little by little you see growth. It could be a complete mystery in which you have no choice but to walk by faith. He is preparing you too. He is perfecting the gifts in you, and in His timing, He will elevate you. In your struggles, God is preparing you for better. Be thankful for every experience. Your latter will be greater. God bless you.